So just when we probably thought that the allegations, the drama, whatever the case may be with Gateway Church would be over, we find ourselves in a class action lawsuit filed against them. Now, this is interesting. The suit claims that Robert Morris and Gateway misinterpreted its use of tithes funds from members. Now, people have been talking about this for years. All these mega churches that you see where it's like they're bringing in all this money and it's like, where is it going? You know, you see the pastors and the ministers living pretty decent lives, but then you got people in the church who may not be living so much good of lives. And people have always had controversy with this. Like, where's the money going? I don't want to donate to churches because it's not real. And, who's to say where the money's going, what they're doing with it, if it's a good thing, if it's not, whatever the case may be. Well, here at Gateway Church, we're finding out that the outcomes for this particular ministry, I'm not saying with everyone, I'm not saying all churches do this, but Gateway Church has been in the limelight for quite some time, and they have been dealing with a lawsuit. Let's read out about this. It's saying Gateway Church. Let's get into this and read about it because I really want to get into the detail. It's saying Gateway Church, headquartered in the Dallas suburb of South Lake, has been facing a multitude of allegations and controversies, which is what we just talked about, after Cindy Clemenshire's sexual abuse allegations against founding pastor Robert Morris. It's led to his resignation. So we know Robert Morris. We know about him. There's a picture of him right here. We know about him. He was the senior pastor there. He was involved with a minor a long time ago. Those allegations surfaced up today, and he ended up resigning. Which, by the way, people are saying, I don't know how true this is, that Robert Morris had sold his house and everything, and he's kind of nowhere to be found right now. Don't quote me on that. Don't know how true that is, but I did see that in a source when I was kind of going through this lawsuit thing. Okay, so let's keep this going. It says, now a class action lawsuit has been filed against the church in federal court by members who are concerned about the stewardship of the money they contributed. It says the lawsuit alleges that Morris and Gateway's leadership represented that 15% of all tithe dollars would be distributed to global missions and Jewish ministry partners, encouraging church members to generously give toward these ends. So what we're saying right now is that they're getting all this money and only 15% of the 100% allotment that they had would be given to global missions and Jewish ministry partners. It's interesting. That's interesting to me. Why just Jewish ministry partners? Why not? Why just segregate it to those? Interesting. Morris claimed in 2023 that Gateway had sent more than $25 million overseas, the lawsuit states. So that makes me wonder if that was for the global missions and only 15% of it, so they sent more than 25 million. How much money was this church really racking in if more than 25 mil is still only 15%? However, the plaintiffs believe that there was a misrepresentation and they are seeking transparency about how the money was used. I wonder how this came about, because a lot of these things are coming out. So it's making me wonder. I wonder if there are people on the inside, like, as people say it was an inside job. I wonder if there was people on the inside that are kind of leaking this information, or if it's just regular congregant members who are just going off on their own, really bringing these things to light. Well, let's keep this going. It says these individuals were faithful contributors for years and simply want Gateway to open its books, answer questions, and demonstrate that the church is a good steward of these funds. Micah Dortch, attorney for the plaintiffs, said in a press statement. Church leaders have promised on multiple occasions that if any member of the congregation is not happy with how these contributions are being used, that they can get that money back, Dortch said. But those requests have been repeatedly ignored. That's interesting. You see, because people always say, it's like that thing, like, you donate money, you give money to a charity or whatever. And it's almost kind of like, I'm not saying it's manipulation, but it's like, it's a good little tactic where most people are not going to ask for the money back to something that they've given or donated, and in this situation, I think that they might have used that as like, hey, if you guys ever feel uncomfortable, get your money back, as a way that maybe people would never question the legitimacy of the functions of the church. But then you actually got people reaching out, and it's interesting that they were repeatedly ignored. Maybe that is what started it. because it's like you say one thing, but then you say another. You got more than $25 million to send overseas, but you can't give me back a check that I deposited, and you're ignoring all the requests of the people wanting their money back because they're not too sure where all the money is going towards. That's interesting, man. And it's scary with these ministries and these churches, because what I've realized is that when it comes to the leadership in these churches, these mega churches, a lot of the people that are in leadership, it doesn't necessarily mean they were called or necessarily even qualified to be there. It really is a group of people that are connected. It's their networks, it's their friends, that they've set up and appointed in these positions, and they keep their little networks and their circles tight and closed. And they got too many secrets and skeletons hidden off in there, man. And this stuff is starting to come out, but it's interesting. Let's keep this going. In 2021, Ministry Watch reported about the network of ministries associated with Gateway Church. There was little financial and organizational transparency made available to the public. So this has been going on for some time. And even when the churches is offering, hey, show me what you're doing. And that's the part where it really makes you feel guilty, because if you're a church and your books are the way they need to do, and you're really being good stewards of the finances and the funds that are coming in through that ministry, there really would be nothing to hide, which makes this whole thing, and it makes them just look even more guilty. What do you think, man? Do you think they're going to shut down? You think Gateway Church, after so many of these allegations, do you think that this is going to be like, like the final draw? Like it's just going to end it all here? You think people are going to leave? Because there's usually a lot of allegations that come out. And sure enough, you go and you look at that ministry a couple weeks down the line, and it is still packed. There are still plenty of people supporting the ministry. So what do you guys think? You think they're going to crumble down? You think this is it? Or, do you think that they still have a fighting chance? Do you think that this lawsuit is going to work in the favor of the church, or you think it's going to work in the favor of the people? Let me know what you think. Let's keep this going. In 2011, here's a little background. Gateway reportedly hired a certified public accountant to oversee the contributions of Gateway's global missions. This CPA, who is not named in the lawsuit, held the position of executive pastor, in addition to his role vetting and approving relationships with and gifts to ministry partners around the world. He also supervised 6 associate pastors, the lawsuit says. So like I said, typically these people that are in these positions of leadership, they usually have multiple hands in the pots in different areas. So I think, as in most of these churches are ran like businesses these days, I think in business we call that a conflict of interest. And I think that's what a lot has been happening when it's coming to Gateway Church and all the scandals and all this stuff that's been coming out that we've been seeing and talking about. I think it really has been boiling down to a lot of conflict of interest. And I think a lot more of this stuff is going to be revealed on a lot more of these mega churches, because I think that there's a lot more conflicting interests and other ministries as well. Let's go. In contrast to Morris's statement that Gateway was giving away 20 to 25 million a year to global missions, the executive pastor never witnessed more than 3 million annually in global missions contributions. So Pastor Morris is saying that, hey, we gave away more than 25 million, 20 to 25 million a year in these missions that we said that the money was going to go towards. But that executive pastor that was, like I said, had a conflict of interest. He was a CPA and he was working as an executive pastor in the church, overseeing 6 associate pastors. He's saying that he never witnessed more than 3 million a year go in global mission contributions. So that means we're looking at 17 to 22 million dollars, anywhere in that realm, of unaccounted for funds. Oh, y'all, they're in trouble. Now this is starting to make sense as to why maybe that story was true about Pastor Robert Morris selling his house and his family and everybody getting gone and nobody really knowing where he is at right now. Man, this is interesting. This is interesting. The background information really starts to kind of piece in the holes that we didn't really have the answers to in the beginning. Let's keep this going. According to the lawsuit, the CPA also noted financial irregularities, in the Gateway Global Ministries fund balance, and brought those to the attention of Gateway leaders, including former associate senior pastor Kevin Grove and former executive pastor Tom Lane. The CPA claimed he told Lane he could not be a part of financial irregularities and would resign if they were not addressed. Lane said he spoke with Morris and they accepted his resignation. Wow. So the CPA, the gentleman that we were saying had a conflict of interest, that executive pastor had a conversation and told, well, he's claiming, but he's saying he told them, hey, I'm seeing that you guys are reporting that 20 to 25 mil is going out in global missions. But according to the books in the paper and what we're actually noting, only 3 million went. So where's this other 17 million? And if you guys don't want to tell me this or let me know what's going on, I'm resigning before this gets out of hand, before we get a lawsuit on our hands. Pastor Morris, they accepted. Pastor Morris and Lane and Pastor Tom Lane, they accepted his resignation, which is a way of saying, hey, you caught us, but we're not telling you what's going on, so go ahead and resign. Hear no evil, see no evil type, speak no evil thing. That's all demonic. That's terrible. That is terrible. Let's keep this going. We're almost done here. Rather than practice transparent stewardship with one of its key pastors who was hired to lead the directly relevant global ministry, the church ignored and buried his concerns. The lawsuit alleges. Very true. What we just said. After the sexual abuse allegations against Morris arose this summer, we just passed this, the plaintiffs claimed they approached leadership to seek answers about the use of tithe funds. Gateway refused to be transparent when trying to answer even simple questions about the use of tithing dollars. Like I said, if you're doing everything right, it's a church, man. If you're doing everything right, there really shouldn't be anything to hide. There really isn't anything to hide. The fact that they're not showing and not willing to just be transparent means they got a lot of stuff to hide. And they've been misleading and putting some false information on some documents and, messing up the books, man. This isn't looking good. This isn't looking good because they got past behavior to match with present behavior, and we're going to fill in all those missing holes. I don't think this lawsuit is looking good the more and more we're reading about this thing. Lead plaintiff Catherine Leach has publicly and directly delivered a demand letter to Gateway for the return of her tithes pursuant to Gateway's money-back guarantee. Once again, Gateway has not responded. The lawsuit asserts claims for misrepresentation, fraud, and breach of contract. Absolutely, that's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it, but hey, they said it there, so I'll capitalize on it. I was saying, bro, like messing with those books and falsifying documents. They're treacherying on fraudulent grounds, and this could possibly be some serious stuff that comes up out here in the next few weeks. This is crazy. A statement by Gateway to CBS News Texas reads, in part, "These are serious allegations. Some of these concerns were brought to us recently, and we are actively investigating them. Funds donated to our church are sacred, and it is important that we hold ourselves to the highest biblical standards of ethics and integrity." I don't know, man. I don't know. There's so much in this thing, man. Guys, go check this out. It's on ministrywatch.com. There's even more down below after what I was just reading in regards to the lawsuit, because they start going in a little bit more down here, as you can see, where they're talking about the Clemishire, the thing with Robert Morris when he had the accusations brought against him for the young lady there as well. So, I mean, this whole thing is interesting, man. It's like, I still say, man, it's just still a body of Christ, still people in that ministry, in that church, man. Pray for them, man. Pray for the church, pray for the people in there. This could be a really huge attack on a lot of people in the body of Christ, just so many things coming out, and it's not a good look as well, but like I said, unfortunately, I don't say this with joy, but unfortunately, I do believe that this is just the start of so many other lawsuits and allegations coming out with so many other mega churches. But we got to keep them in prayer, man. I think honestly at this point, it's all we can do. But I thank you guys for tuning in this long, man. That's all I got for you guys on this one. To the next one. I'm out.